Every month, we all pay for so many different streaming services. Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, HBO, Peacock, Paramount, the list goes on. And to do what? Just watch the same 3 things you watch over and over again? Not because you don't love them, but because every time you open the apps, you fall into what I like to call streaming spiral.
So, I decided to do something about it. Something a little dramatic.
So, for the next 30 days, I am only allowing myself to consume media that fits on one shelf, a 14 by 23 inch shelf. I only have one rule for this challenge: everything I watch, listen to, play, and consume must fit or come from the shelf. If it doesn't fit, I don't watch. The shelf is the law. Now, before I tell you how this whole month went, I kind of wanted to share why I was doing this to begin with. Recently, I felt like I've been consuming way too much media, which is fine. I love movies and TV shows and playing video games, but the problem really is I feel like I'm not actually choosing the media I'm consuming, you know? I feel like I'm being force-fed something that I'm not necessarily choosing. Like the algorithm is attacking my brain cells one by one. Just because I watch Stranger Things doesn't mean I'll like Yellow Jackets. I have a mind of my own, Netflix. But I did like Yellow Jacket, it's a really good show. That's when I remembered I watched a YouTube video a while back, and this guy did a whole no streaming challenge for a whole 30 days. Honestly, by the end of it, it looked like he really improved his life. And hey, I want to improve my life. I want to feel grounded. I want to kill the constant need to fill internet and media slop into my eyeballs. But you see, I'm not an excellent craftsman like this fine gentleman. I couldn't build a bookshelf to save my life. But what I did have was a heart of gold, a smile my mom says is kind of nice, and a bookshelf I wasn't really using. Here's what happened without streaming for a month. To start this challenge, I had to pick what media deserved to take up space on the shelf, and I immediately realized something. I don't actually own that much, which is funny because I feel like I have infinite entertainment, but I don't. I just have the same 4 apps yelling at me over and over again. So I started with what I do have. First, I just recently found my old iPod from high school. It only had like a few albums on it, but it was at least something. I also chose the complete season of How I Met Your Mother. It is my comfort show. I love it. I've seen it a bunch of times. I also threw on there the first Spider-Man for the PlayStation. I know that the game is kind of old, but I actually never beat it. Oh gosh, yeah, the last time I played this was March of 2024. So that was like almost a year and a half ago. I'm also gonna throw some of these Power Ranger comic books that I have. I've read them before and they're just great. And the last thing I'm gonna throw on the shelf from my at-home choices, just finding things laying around, is my modded 3DS. Now that I searched my own house for some physical media, I needed to find some other options, but I really didn't want to like spend any money. I just pulled up to my local library because this is the location where I'm gonna find the next items for my shelf. 1, because it's totally free, which is awesome. And then 2, and this might be kind of bending the rules a little bit, but if I check things out from the library, I have to return them. That's the rules, you know? That's the rules of the library. And if I'm returning things, I can kind of get replacements for those things. This might be bending the rules a little bit, but I'm going inside. We're gonna find some cool stuff. Oh, take the keys out of the thing. First things first, I checked to see if they had the book I've been listening to on Audible, The Butcher's Masquerade. It's the 5th book in the Dungeon Crawler series, which I'm pretty obsessed with. And it follows this human, Carl, and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut. And immediately the book gets crazy. Like aliens invade Earth, turn it into an 18-level dungeon, like straight up RPG, Dungeons and Dragons dungeon. And the reason they're doing all this is because they're broadcasting it all across the universe as like a giant game show. I was in the middle of this book when I started this challenge and I didn't want to stop just for a month. But while I was at the library, I couldn't find the book anywhere. I mean, I checked the general fiction section, science fiction section, even the mystery section, and I couldn't find it, like no luck whatsoever. I did grab a few other things, and then right before I left, I checked out the new arrival area, and there it was. That's crazy. I didn't think I would find this one. Ugh. We just got all the things checked out from the library. Let's go. Man, I didn't think I was gonna find this. I was kind of walking around and I honestly kind of like was about to give up. And then I was like, oh, let me go check out like this new, like the new books area. And it was just there. And I was like, yes, because I'm in the middle of this bad boy. and I can't just stop. I can't stop. I'm listening to the audiobook, and it's just so good. This is like the 5th book in the series. I've been just like going through this series. So if you haven't read the series, please check it out. So I'm happy that I found it, because that means I can probably finish it and I don't have to just kind of like wait around. And then I grabbed the graphic novel, The Road. I've never read The Road before. I've always heard great things. People love it. And I thought it might be cool to check out. So I got 2 books that I got to bring back in like 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember. But the DVDs, I got to remember, because those are shorter, only 7 days. So I got Knives Out, which is a classic. And then I got season 1 of Ted Lasso, which I love Ted Lasso. I've seen it a million times. So that'll be a nice comfort. And you know what? Everyone go check out your library. They got a lot of things. They got DVDs, they got books, they got comic books, they got audiobooks. They even had like these bundles. I'm just rambling on. Everybody go check out your local library, okay? It's pretty awesome. I'm just excited to add all these to the shelf. And I will say, the shelf is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty stacked. I got a lot of media to entertain me for the month. And I know these might be my famous last words, but I'm thinking this is gonna be pretty easy. The first few days felt a little weird. I immediately realized I chose the wrong month to start this challenge in. I mean, Stranger Things was ending, Fallout Season 2 just started, and I recently just got into the show Traders and was kind of binging it, and now all that was just put on pause. But ultimately, the biggest thing I was worried about was making my wife Emily just kind of wait around to watch things because I couldn't. So I did what any good partner would do in the situation. I just ran out of the room anytime she turned on the TV. So I'm just gonna avoid the living room altogether, because then the streaming spiral can't try to suck me in and just make me waste hours and hours of my day. I wish I could waste all hours of my day. That sounds nice, right? No. And we're gonna drink some coffee and do things that don't involve streaming. That's what we're gonna do. And that's exactly what I did. I made some coffee, I went upstairs, and I immediately grabbed my favorite show off the shelf, How I Met Your Mother. If Ted Mosby can distract his kids for 9 whole seasons with the story of how he met their mother, then I'm sure this bad boy can distract me from the streaming spiral. Just for a little bit at least, because I'm telling you, this thing is hefty. Like, this thing is thick. I'm telling you, I've watched this a million times. Usually on streaming, but I don't think it's even on Netflix anymore. So a good thing I have it on DVD. But we're gonna start with season 1, and then we'll see what happens. I'm kind of desperate right now. I need a distraction. We might get a little crazy. So then I went into survivor mode, and I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't proud of what happened next. I watched hours and hours and then days and days of How I Met Your Mother. I mean, I binged the crap out of that show. Like, I'm talking like season 1 to season 4, and anytime I got bored or needed a little break, I would bust out the Spider-Man video game. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a Spider-Man does. He shoots webs from his hands. I don't know the rest of the song. Look out, here comes Spider-Man. So yeah, I haven't turned on my PlayStation 4 in a really long time. I had actually charged the controller because it was completely dead before I turned it on. And then I had to update it because that's how long I have not played my PlayStation 4. I play most of my games on my PC. So, unless it's like Nintendo, so I got the Switch. But I have not played this PlayStation 4 in a long time. Also, don't mind the broken TV. I had a light clamped onto that corner, and I didn't know it was damaging the TV, because I don't really use the TV that much also. So I didn't know until just now. So just don't pay no mention to that, you know? We're just gonna play some Spider-Man, you know? But during that, I quickly beat it, which again, awesome, exciting, I beat it. But then I realized, oh no, I beat it. And like, what am I gonna do now? Like, how am I gonna fill my time? And I started kind of panicking a little bit, and the craving just to watch Netflix or listen to some music on Spotify or even just listen to a book on Audible was increasing a lot, and the shelf just wasn't cutting it.
What if you just open Netflix for just 5 minutes? Yeah, don't you want to see what's new on there? Yeah, don't you want to enjoy something new?
So to help myself just feel more grounded and break the temptation of streaming things and honestly just get out of the house, I decided to take some walks. And on those walks, I brought my old iPod. This thing is ancient. My background is the Harry Potter 7 movie poster. Like, that's how old this is. But it has one function, listening to music, and that's what I need right now. So we're gonna take this bad boy out for a spin to kind of distract my mind. I'm gonna go take a walk with Winter. We're gonna jam out to some tunes. I don't know if this thing has Bluetooth. I don't know if I have headphones. Does this thing have Bluetooth? I don't know. It could, I don't know. I got Winter and I ready for the walk, and the only headphones I could find were these old Beats Emily used to use. And then these walks very quickly became a normal thing during this challenge, because now I wasn't just filling time with content, I was actually walking. Like, I was where my body was supposed to be. I know, it sounds dramatic, but when you're not being screamed at by 900 different shows and movies, the world gets a lot quieter in a good way. You just hear birds, wind, and in my case, the Blue Album from Weezer. My brain didn't feel entertained, it just felt present, which nowadays is a rare thing. We are doing the walk and we're listening to the iPod Touch. Like I said, the only headphones I could find were these ones. I don't think this thing has Bluetooth. I couldn't find it, so I don't know. But we're just jamming out. We're just jamming out, me and Winter, taking a nice walk, and the jams are good. After about a week or so, things started to shift. The spiral stopped screaming, and the fear of missing out got a lot smaller. But a new problem did occur. I realized with infinite options, I still just end up choosing to watch the same old stuff. I mean, I've seen Ted Lasso and How You Met Your Mother like 900 times, and honestly, I was starting to get a little bored, which made me wonder, maybe streaming isn't an actual problem? Maybe I'm just using it as an excuse to not choose anything new. And that constant thought process led right to my mid-month slump. We're on day 16 of the challenge, and I am not doing well. Yeah. I thought this would be a lot easier than it is. And right now I'm just feeling like the shelf betrayed me, you know? Which is funny to say because I'm the one who put things on the shelf. So in a way, like I'm betraying myself, which is like an interesting whirlwind to think about. And now my brain is like trying to bargain on ways to get out of this situation, so that's fun. So I'm just gonna do what I normally do in these situations. I'm just gonna make some coffee, cry a little bit, and like come up with a plan. Easy. After having a small existential crisis, I came up with a plan and went back to the library. I'm not playing around this time. No. I'm on a mission. I gotta find something new, something that will freshen up the shelf, because I'm realizing that the shelf is all about choosing with intent. You know, I gotta choose with intentionality. I gotta find something new that I haven't seen before, you know? So I'm gonna go in there and maybe I'll find something for me and Emily to watch, you know? Make it a like special event because the shelf is giving me new life. The shelf is bringing me out of a media hole that I wasn't even aware I was in. Once I was at the library, I quickly walked over to where the DVDs are and grabbed 2 movies I've never seen before and checked out. I added the new items to the shelf and kind of just doubled down on the challenge and let the shelf do what it was intended to do. And after a while, the mid-month slump was over. Now that I was well into this challenge, I can share with you some of the big items that were a surprise to me. First, my 3DS. Normally, the streaming spiral likes to sneak in at the end of the day. When you get home from work and you're decompressing, streaming, hanging out with Emily, streaming, getting ready for bed, streaming. But with my 3DS, I was able to do all of that. I was playing some Mario here and there after work. I was cooking up some delicious meals with Emily and Cooking Mama. Shoot, I even played some Pokemon before bed, because you see, with my 3DS, I wasn't just filling time, I was intentionally spending time. And this might sound silly, but in a way, it made me feel like I was in control of my own life. Not saying that streaming controls me, but what I'm saying is I was able to put in the time I wanted to put in. Instead of just spending 30 minutes looking for some random Marvel movie to watch until I fall asleep, I was now playing an amazing Mario game and then going to bed. It was pretty awesome. Another big item of the month wasn't necessarily an item, it was more of an event. Me and Emily started having movie nights where we would pull something off the shelf, turn our space into a mini little movie theater, and we would make popcorn and get fun drinks. And I started to think, that's the secret sauce, you know? When you can make media feel intentional, it becomes memorable. And those movie nights, even if they were sad, and Little Women is sad, it was still memorable.
Wait, Beth dies? No. She was the best sister.
By the last week, the challenge wasn't that hard. It was quiet and slow, but in all the best ways. And that's when I realized maybe the streaming spiral isn't about entertainment. It's about discomfort or the fear of missing out. It's all about those moments when you don't know what to do with your own thoughts or your own brain, so you start outsourcing to the algorithm. But when you have limited options, you stop outsourcing. And then you actually have the time to figure out what you might like. Day number 30 is done. We started here and now we're on day 30. It's done. We did it. I thought there'd be like confetti or something. I thought it would be a lot cooler than it is. So what happened? Did the streaming spiral go away? No, it's still out there, hovering, circling, probably updating its apps. But after spending a month on the shelf, I learned something. The spiral doesn't scream if you don't open it. And the bigger realization, I wasn't using streaming to just find entertainment. I was using streaming to kill the void, to kill boredom, to stop thinking. This month forced me to choose. And because I had limited options, those choices felt more meaningful. Also financially. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to cancel every single streaming service I have, but I will say that spending $60 a month just to watch the same old sitcoms over and over and over and over again can be good. So would I do it again? I think so. I mean, I had more walks, more little moments, more moments of I'm actually there. And yeah, I did play and watch some stuff, but it didn't feel like my soul was being zapped away by endless media slop. Instead, it felt like my media was supporting my life instead of replacing it. You made it to the end. Well, while I'm checking out some of my old physical media, why don't you guys go ahead and just click on one of those videos right there. I know, I said internet slop is bad, but my internet slop is good. It's really good, I promise. It's all about life lessons, like one about accepting change and one about growing up. So why don't you guys just click one of those little videos right there.